Hi loves, welcome back. This is Ray with Raw Element, and today I'm going over my favorite fonts and sharing with you a couple of my freebies. So I am absolutely obsessed with fonts and typography, as you all probably know if you've followed me for a while. I used to work as a newspaper editor back in the day, and I was also predominantly in HR and grant writing, so I had to make stuff look attractive for potential bids and that kind of thing. But also my HR experience, is all about motivational speeches and finding out problems between people and sorting that out and giving them something to look forward to make their job happier. So all that experience helped shape the person that I am today, and so that's kind of why my style is the way it is. It's a lot of motivational, inspirational stuff, and I'm super excited that you guys are loving it. And I have been wanting to do a favorite font video forever. I have this in my freebies, and you can go and download that. It's an image of all my favorite fonts, and I keep this in the front of my planner at all times. Sometimes I will pick a certain font for certain things, like all of my monthly calendars will have a certain font, just to have that consistency throughout. And then my fonts in my actual plans will be a different font. So, or my headers for my plans will be a different font. So for me personally, it's helped me to divide it by different styles. So I've got my editorial fonts, then I have my handwriting fonts, and then font websites where you can download fonts. The one that I recently told Planning Serenity about, a lot of you have messaged me and said that you're having trouble finding it. So when this video goes out, I'll make sure that I have that font in my freebies as well. I downloaded it for free years ago. I couldn't tell you where, but I'll make sure that I have that available to you guys. And then in addition to this one, and Vienna is not on this list. I made this list probably 2016. It was around the time that I released my Simply Aesthetic planner line that was all minimalistic. That's when I found out I had some health issues and needed something to get on track with my health. And so I did away with all my girly planning. I was an excessive sticker user, and I did away with all of that and just went straight down to function to try and find out what was wrong and how I could better my health. And so that was my solution, is to come up with that planner system. And I've been minimal planner ever since. I was hooked. I knew it worked for me. I finally had my planner piece, so to call it. And so some of those planner layouts are in my Planner Essentials kit. If you have seen that in my shop, a lot of those layouts are from that original kit years ago. So this hasn't changed much for me over the years. I still go to a lot of these. The only there's a handful of cursive ones that I'm loving lately that could be added to this, but I still use all of these a lot. So I didn't want to edit this list anymore or make it any smaller, because I like how it fits on the page. So I will say that instead of Vogue, I've been leaning more toward Vienna over the last couple years. That's the only big one that's changed editorial wise. And then Metropolis, I switch that out. I go back and forth between Metropolis and Century Gothic for kind of like more of a rounded letter, and Calibri. So in addition to these and these two fonts, I also have a freebie for the other additional handwriting fonts, cursive fonts that I have added, including my own. I have a font. I made a font for just my own handwriting. That way I could get that handwritten look in Goodnotes without having to physically handwrite it out. So because my handwriting, no matter how I write, it always ends up looking the same anyway. So I was like, I might as well just make a font. So if you like the template for that, I can put that in freebies as well. That way you can turn your own handwriting into a font. So not much has changed from this list. And some of these are really hard to find. So any of them that I've received comments on saying that you're having difficulty getting them, I've added those over in my freebies. So Century Gothic is very similar to Futura. Futura is a little more compact, I'd say. I'll show you the difference. I guess I should put light on there because it's not the version that comes on Goodnotes. It's a light version of Futura, and it's a little taller than Century Gothic, but I use Futura Light a lot. And Vienna is very similar to Times New Roman or Vogue, if you've used the Vogue font before. I really love that one. It just has a little bit more fineness to the lines versus Vogue. And, you know, Vogue is just a darker, you know, wider font. Like, I'll show a comparison of that one too. Vogue is a little taller, you know, you can see it's bolder. I use this a lot for headlines. I think that looks really cool. Vienna is what I use for titles a lot, and absolutely love both of them. So they're interchangeable in my mind. And so these are the only additions that I have to my original font list, and a lot of these are interchangeable too. Like if you, like for Babies, if you already have say headline font or compact, then, you know, interchange it with that. You know, you don't necessarily have to go with this. It's just I'm sharing my list of what fonts I like, but there are tons of fonts that are interchangeable. Just like I was just saying, you know, Vogue is interchangeable with Vienna. They're very similar. You know, it just depends on the actual look you're going for. These are just like the styles that I gravitate toward for doing like the editorial style. So like Splendid 66. There are a million typewriter fonts out there. There's Traveling Typewriter and Mom's Typewriter, and you know, just so many that basically what I'm saying is, you know, okay, you know, for editorial, I love to use a typewriter font. I also like to use a round letter font, whether it be Metropolis, Futura, Century Gothic, you know, Calibri, rounded typeset, and Mona Lisa, Modern, Industrial 736. Those are what I would consider, you know, in the Times New Roman family. And so I do use Times New Roman a lot. I use Georgia in place of Times New Roman sometimes when I want kind of like a Times New Roman vibe, but a little bit more rounded. Georgia is great for that. Garamond is great for that. If you have Garamond, and I don't have it installed on here, but it's very similar to Georgia and Times New Roman. Arial is very similar to Helvetica New, so I use these two quite a bit in a lot of my blurb text. I like to go simple with my blurb text, so if it's like a quote or something like that, then I'll gravitate toward handwriting font or an editorial. Horatio I absolutely love. Horatio is a great one. Modern 20 I use with these two almost all the time. I absolutely love Modern 20. Let's put it here. It's just super fancy. I absolutely love the numbers. I love doing my numbers with Modern 20. Numbers are very similar to the Vogue style. That's Vogue is what I did the number 5 here with cursive and I love, I used Vicentia, and then the word fonts, I used Vienna. So if I were to add like a number 20 after Vogue here, just to show like numbers. This is where it loses its characteristic. You know, it's not as stylized. And Modern and Vogue are very, very similar. So if I were to type the word modern, just to compare, Vogue is always caps. So with the numbers, Modern 20 has a really fancy stylized 20. This one's more, Vogue is more straight. It doesn't have as many curves. And then Vienna doesn't really have a stylized font. You know, it's just a basic, almost like an Arial look to it. So I don't usually use numbers with Vienna. But the difference between, I would say that like Modern 20 is like a lowercase to Vogue. You can do lowercase and uppercase with Modern 20. You can't do that with Vogue. Sometimes I don't want a curly number. You know, I just want a simple basic number. So then I'll go with a Vogue. You know, if I still want the editorial look to the number, you know, but don't want the curves to it, then I'll go with Vogue. So those are the main fonts that I love to use. So this is a freebie and this is a freebie. So all of this will be in my freebies font folder. Again, like with any other fonts that people have said they've had trouble finding. Don't overlook the basics though. These I absolutely love. You know, I use these all the time. And so sometimes when I find a new font, I'll just play with it. And so I thought I would do that with you, just for fun, to show the different styles. So like, let's do Century Gothic as an example. Or I really wanted to do like I want to do one that has different weights to it, you know, like a bold italic, that kind of thing. So I think I will go with Century Gothic. So let me copy that. And we'll just paste it a bunch of times. And so we'll do like a bold, we'll do an italic, we'll do like one flipped, and do like a italic, and maybe really large. And with this being so big, usually when I do letters that are this big, I will turn that into a graphic. I'll copy this and then put it on a new page and resize it so that I get a good resolution, and then I will take a screenshot, or you could add it to elements, or whatever you want to do, but most of the time it's in the background for me, so I don't really care if it has a white background or not. So it becomes an image that you don't have to worry about accidentally selecting it with the text tool and stuff like that. And if you have the upgraded Goodnotes, then obviously you can send it back. You don't have to cut and paste like me. So now that I have all of these, this would be great, if you want to have these at the ready, for when you go to do something with this font. So say I'm doing like a headline for a page and I know that I want Century Gothic bold. Well, then I can just come to this page, like if you have a dedicated Goodnotes notebook just for fonts, then you could go to the page you created all of these on and you can just grab it. So, like this one, and say, okay, I want it to be bold, and then it's ready to go. It just cuts down on the time, that you're working on something. So, and it also inspires me, because now I want to do 3 or 4 spreads off of this just from playing around. So it just inspires, more creativity with simplicity. That's really what editorial is all about, is how to make simple look really attractive, and its function meets beauty. So with words. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. If you have a font that isn't covered on any of these that I don't know about, maybe, by all means, recommend it. Recommend your favorites in the comments. If you have some that you go to, if you have some of these fonts already, let me know what you've been using them for. I'm all about inspiring others, so by all means share what works for you. And if you create any of these pages, then feel free to share those with me too. You can tag me at Raw Element either here on YouTube or over on Instagram, and I will reshare those, because I love what you guys all do with my kits. I love what you do in general. So by all means, share that with us. I will see you soon on the next one.